And it is time for the hot topic of the hour, the first ever face-to-face meeting between former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris on Tuesday night, drawing more than 67 million viewers. That is roughly 15 million more than the previous debate between Trump and President Biden. More women watching than men, 52% to 48%. That's according to data from Nielsen. But the question still remains, did the debate move the needle? Reuters interviewed 10 debate watchers and found most undecided voters were not convinced by Harris's performance. And then we had a Fox News focus group that was tracking live reactions during the debate, and that showed that independent voters aligning with Trump when he spoke about immigration and migrant crime. Meanwhile, Harris putting out this new campaign ad, and this features all the debate highlights from the campaign. Watch this.
We're a failing nation, a nation that is dying. We're a nation that's in serious decline.
What I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
Harris challenging Trump to a debate shortly after Tuesday night's debate. And then yesterday, the former president responded to that, and he says that he is considering it.
When you don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter has a bad fight, gets knocked out, or loses the fight, the first thing he says is, we want a rematch. So we won the debate according to every poll, every single poll. I think that, are we going to do a rematch? I just don't know. But we'll think about it.
Okay, Mark, so, you know, every single poll, maybe not so much here, but let's talk about what happened on Tuesday night. Lee Carter, who does the dials, and she was on with us yesterday in the program, she has a great op-ed kind of going through what the undecided group said about Tuesday night. And she said that basically Harris did a great job putting Trump on the defensive, exploiting his vulnerabilities. But does that mean that she can't capture that enthusiasm, and does that really relate to the actual election? So far, most of the undeciders are saying not so fast. They're still kind of waiting to see what they want to hear more from her, you know, what they feel.
Well, I mean, when you talk about the undecided voter, I think the key thing that you know, the Trump campaign needs to remember is that they neither love Trump nor do they hate Trump. Right. And I think
they know who he is.
They know who he is. And in order to win them over, they're going to make their decisions logically. If you want to win them over, you can't just make claims like we had the strongest economy ever without backing it up. Because if you just say that without any metrics, obviously, Kamala's camp can come back and say, well, there have been, you know, faster GDP growth eras. Right. So but if you want to look at metrics, and if you were to kind of pivot this whole strongest economy ever argument to the strongest consumer ever, there's data to back that up. I mean, real wage growth during his 4 years was up 9.8%. That's amongst the fastest ever. You compare that to Biden's term, down 0.1%. Obama's 8 years, only up 3.5%. The consumer had the highest standard of living ever under the Trump administration. Consumer confidence was roughly 30% higher when Trump was in office. So consumers felt great. They had a high standard of living. Quality of life was excellent. And I think if you utilize those metrics, that can help to win over the undecided voters.
So in Lee Carter's op-ed, one of the things that she says is, look, here are the key questions to consider. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? These are the things that are on voters' mind. Maybe the moderators did or did not ask that, and they didn't. Also, how is Kamala Harris different from Joe Biden? And Todd, these independent voters say that's not really what they heard. Look, I mean, they said that, yep, she performed well, she was polished, and she's pretty much been declared the winner, let's be clear. But at the same time, it didn't really change the numbers and how they feel about their November vote. They're still undecided, is what I'm saying.
And you know what my takeaway from that was, as I thought about it over the last 24 hours? The viewer watching at home saw through what ABC News did. I think sometimes we don't give the viewer enough credit, the voter enough credit, the average American enough credit. I think they saw through and said, this was a 3-on-1. 3-on-1 is not just a Fox News, Fox Business talking point. It's actually what happened. And so, yes, I think we could all agree from a sheer performance perspective, Kamala Harris came off polished, way more polished than she has in any other public setting, quite frankly, than we've ever seen. But the reason we're not seeing the numbers change 24, 36 hours out is because people knew it was unfair. And it's almost like, golfers giving him a handicap a little bit.
Well, look, both Karl Rove and Dan Hanninger have brand new op-eds in the Wall Street Journal talking about why this did not go well for Donald Trump on Tuesday night. And Karl Rove said basically that she was prepared and that he got defensive and got off topic. But the topics are the economy. The topics are immigration. The topics are where the country was under Donald Trump and then where we are under the Biden-Harris administration. So that's where the independent voters seem to still be focused. Now, we should say that both candidates are going to be back on the campaign trail today. Key swing states again. Harris is going to hold rallies in North Carolina, kicking off her New Way Forward tour. She's going to be stopping in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. And then Trump is going to make his fourth visit to Arizona today to talk about the economy, housing costs, and illegal immigration, which impacts the budgets of these voters.